Good afternoon. My name is Kate Briscoe from Legal Beagles. Thank you very much for having me here today. I'm really grateful from the invitation from Integra to be here. It's the first time I've attended an event like this. It's quite an exciting time for us. And why am I at a blockchain consortium event? Well, to get to the bottom of that, obviously the introduction summarizes that. We have a future where we believe blockchain is going to be a very big part of that. But I need to tell you a little bit about Legal Beagles first. Legal Beagles is, I've recently found out, the world's biggest free legal advice forum. I founded it back in 2007 when I was just a law student trying to break into a legal career. And I was doing a lot of voluntary work online, helping people out. And I quickly discovered that there was a lot of really poor advice being offered online. So, true to form, I thought I could do it better. And my co-founder and I set up Legal Beagles while we were studying law to offer a new portal for people to go and find free legal advice 24/7, 365 days a year. And 11 years later, it has grown to a quite extraordinary size. I've heard a lot of people here talking about access to justice. And although I myself am an ex-consumer finance litigator, so I have a really good grip of what it's like to work in the legal industry and to deal with clients and to deal with the pressures of legal practice, certainly in the UK, and certainly in my area of law, which was representing consumers against banks and finance industries, which back from 2008 onwards was an incredibly important and growing area of law. Let me jump forward. And this is our traction. We are now reaching 1.5 million people a year, and we have over 111,000 registered members, which I think you'll all agree is a pretty amazing success story, considering all the talk about access to justice. I'm standing here and I'm able to say I've been working on it and helping to solve that problem for 11 years. I just didn't realize when I started it quite what the potency of Legal Beagles was going to be long term. But going back to, when we got to a point where it got so large, although the forum is actually reasonably cost effective to run, it actually does present some pressures. How is it going to go forward? And you also may be interested as to how on earth it works. How are we able to do this free of charge? Because certainly for the first 9 years of its existence, I worked alongside my full-time job to run Legal Beagles. Well, in this regard, it has some similarities to blockchain already. Some of the philosophies at heart are very similar, and is one of the reasons why I personally am a huge fan of blockchain, and I think it provides a very real solution for consumers going into the future. The reason being is that the users coming onto Legal Beagles are doing so anonymously. They are hiding behind avatars and usernames. And so they're able to come on any time of day and night and ask a question, but the answers are given in complete public forum by a team of volunteers. You call it pay it forward here in the United States. We call it all sorts of things, altruism and karma. But basically, once people have had help, they tend to stick around and help others. And it's pretty inspiring to watch because it's sustainable and it's scalable. But even that needs to have a commercial future. I'm not going to be here forever, my co-founder's not going to be here forever, and we both agree Legal Beagles is a lot bigger than us now. So we started a commercial journey about 4 years ago, and we weren't very imaginative when we first started it. We went and talked to private equity firms. And we quickly gained a several £1 million acquisition offer just to take the forum off our hands, thank you very much. And I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep at night for the rest of my life if I did that, because all they wanted to do was just cover it in adverts for one single law firm. And that wasn't really going to solve the problem, and it certainly wasn't going to take advantage of the technical innovation I could see coming that could make something really spectacular happen for access to justice. Because the democratization of information is happening in all sorts of fields, and I think we're all agreed law is one of the last bastions to fall, but it is happening, and we've been doing it for a long time. So, first thing we did was we set about coming up with some ethical, commercial ideas about how we could build services and products around Legal Beagles to meet that huge traffic. Because, 8 out of 10 people don't use lawyers, but 2 out of 10 do. And a lot of the time when we're on the forum, we're actually helping people refer them to lawyers. We are a huge referrer of legal work to law firms in the UK. And when I went into legal practice, extraordinary volumes of clients came looking for me and my colleagues at my law firm because they felt trust in me because of what I'd done for all of these years. So we built the first commercial service last year. We raised funding, which was really tough. And we built the UK's first ever all-of-market comparison site for law firms. You have something similar over here called Arvo. We had nothing like that in the UK. We had zero transparency. And we collate all the ratings and reviews and prices that we can find, and that Just Beagle has already been a huge success. We're working with regulatory data, we're linked to by the regulators, so that's been going really well. But that's only step one. Step two was the realization that those 800,000 posts of impartial data that had been generated over 11 years were extremely useful and valuable. But we couldn't analyze them, we couldn't work out what they meant. We knew there were trends and we knew that there was insight in there. And we had this amazing dream that once we were able to analyze them, prediction technology could come in and help us to start to answer questions autonomously. And we started talking to worldwide global tech companies, and we had a huge amount of interest. But the moment we started talking to IBM, everything started to come together. I have a huge amount of gratitude and thanks to IBM for the support they've given us over the last year. And we have just started building an app with them, which is going to be Legal Beagles running as an app with machine learning and analytics, reading everything that's gone before and everything that's coming in the future. And the dream is that in the next 3 years, not only will we be able to extract amazing market insights, which will have commercial value, but are not working on personal data whatsoever. I will never sell personal data. It's a very old-fashioned way of commercializing large communities such as ours. I believe that the anonymous user behavioral data is of far more interest and far more use to the industry. But the holy grail that we're really after is that within 3 years, this technology will actually start to be able to answer simple legal questions autonomously. And that's really powerful because that means that my volunteer team will be freed up to focus on the more complicated questions. This is our forward trajectory. This is what we want to do. And AI is just layer one. But now that we've got that under control, the blockchain opportunity starts to open up to us. And that's where also things get really exciting. Blockchain is incredibly exciting to me because I love the idea, you can imagine from my background, of this system of trust where, similar to what we have in the community, that it's a peer-to-peer approved network. The right answer is approved by many people, and if it's wrong, as once happened to me when I was tired one day and I gave the wrong answer, I was kind of quite soundly embarrassed publicly for having got it wrong. And that is what is the secret. Professionals and advisors don't like getting it wrong, so we keep the quality standards really high. And the idea of self-sovereign ownership of data, again, anyone who's read the news recently, like with Facebook and so on, trust is low between consumers and big corporate organizations. And I believe I can be the bridge between those two entities because I have a lot of trust held in me by my consumer traction and my traffic that uses our forum every day. When they look into who is providing these new services, they're hugely reassured that it's us and that we have a totally 100% record of consumer trust. This is what we want to build, a Beagle Wallet, which, as we've all talked a lot and heard a lot about today, identity is the first and most important way of getting this right. Consumers need to be able to access various digital online news services securely. And currently, at the moment, when I was in practice, they were sending me copies of their driving license and passports through the post, which is absolutely crazy. GDPR has only partly solved that problem in the UK. These consumers need their own private data storage. I think we've all heard of this concept, and we want to look at the first step of that. The next stage is addressing those 8 out of 10 consumers who don't use lawyers. Now, I agree that if we democratize information, we can improve that ratio and we can get more cost-effective digital legal services to more consumers, so maybe we could get it down to 6 out of 10 consumers don't use a lawyer. But that still leaves that 6 out of 10 needing help. And I'll tell you something, consumers are really rubbish at managing bundles and case management files and keeping to deadlines. 87% of court claims in the UK go straight to default judgment with no paperwork exchange whatsoever. They're not even able to comply with that first step. They need more reminders. They need more guided tools. If I had a penny for every time someone asked me for a template on the forum, I'd be a very wealthy woman already. And the next step is the fact that the vast majority of consumer disputes I've observed over the years are completely and utterly avoidable. They come from things like insurance contracts and policies and leases, and consumers blundering into unwitting breaches because they haven't read the document properly, and many of us don't do that. This will actually allow machine learning and scanning of common consumer documents. Again, the whole lot stored in the wallet. And the whole point of this is there is no point building this unless it is blockchain enabled. So that every time we have to step out of this secure digital wallet and communicate with online courts or your own solicitor even, if that's how you want to go the route, if you can afford to be represented. But the point being, your entire identity and your personal documents and your legal case management is all there as a way of connecting securely. And blockchain, obviously, is going to be the way that consumers are going to trust that process going forward. This is our future goals. This is our scalability and reach. Obviously, with our partnership existing already with IBM, we have a huge advantage in being able to do that. These figures are just based on the English legal system, and obviously I am now looking into exploring the American legal system, which actually, by the way, looks hellishly complex, but we will persevere. And by being here today, I am reaching out because I'm offering you a route to market. I want to collaborate with lots of the interesting companies I've heard the talks to today. Incredibly impressive. I can't build some of the products and services that you have already modeled and a proof of concepts for. David at Integra has been incredibly supportive and has given me the confidence to come here and talk to you about this today. But we have a low-cost model, we have a scalability, and we can reach a global solution, which I think actually meaningfully does mean we can properly start talking for real about addressing access to justice. And that's why I really do believe that this holds true. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Kate.